get out if there's something specific that you want to learn. This is your opportunity to jump out before we get started. Anyone? Oh, I gotta go get my pump. Hold on. All right, my husband's gonna get it for me. All right, does anybody want to jump out quickly before we get started? With something they really want to get out of this? Burning question? You have to make sure you unmute yourself.
Nope.
No? All right. We're going to have a Q&A at the end. So if I didn't answer any questions, you have an opportunity to ask. So, sorry, that's my cat. All right, we're going to get started. Thank you so much for joining this free online bike maintenance webinar. My name is Sylvie. I live here in Chelsea, Quebec, Canada, close to Ottawa. And my background is I'm a level 3 national cycling coach. I've had a women's cycling club for the last 12 years. I've been a racer. I'm a mom of 3. And I absolutely, my passion is cycling. And I've been organizing these particular clinics for the last 16 years. And I just started teaching them. I used to organize them. And just this year I started teaching them because, well, thank you, COVID. The bike shops weren't able and didn't want to do them. So we started putting them on outside in parking lots. So here I am. I don't know why I didn't do it long time ago, but I absolutely love talking about all the stuff that we need to have and how to use it. And I also have a really special offer for you guys at the end of this to continue on with some learning and skills with regards to cycling, because obviously you wouldn't be here if you weren't cyclists. And I also do an online winter cycling program geared towards cycling skills, but I'll tell you that at the end. All right, so first off, can you check in my car? So first, obviously, you need a bike bag. And I just took mine off my bike, and I'm basically going to show you the tools that I have and that I use. And I'm going to show you some extra tips. We're also going to go through how to take the back wheel off your bike, how to take the tire tube, change it, little tips and tricks. So I hope you have your pen ready. You will get a recording of this that, you know, will help you on the road. Okay, so it's a lot of these little things that can trigger in your mind when something happens, because everybody's going to have a flat. It's either you're going to have a flat or somebody in your group's going to have a flat. And the thing is about empowering you to be able to want to and feel more comfortable to ride further away from home and be able to take care of whatever might happen to your bike. And pretty much I'll be covering almost, I think, everything that could possibly happen on a ride that has happened to me or with somebody in the group. All right, so first off, make sure you have something that has some sort of identification, and plus, let's not forget the extra added bonus of your mask, because if you don't have a mask, you can't get in and get coffee, and you can't go to the bathroom pretty much anywhere. So just make sure you have that. I put it in my back pocket once, it rained, and that was gross. So now it's in a baggie and it goes into my bike bag. So let me just tilt this down more. So, sorry. so you can see everything on the table. All right, so first off, we're going to talk about the multi-tool. And the multi-tool here, I have 3 of them. So you will have also, did you find it? Oh. Okay. No. All right, we're just trying to find the floor pump because, you know, one of the things I do recommend is always having one of those, because if there's anything that's going to help you avoid having a flat is pumping up your tire every time you leave the house. So, but with that, we'll find it. It'll be somewhere. All right, so to talk about the multi-tool. Now you would have received a link to an Amazon shopping list that I put together. I did some research. I purchased some products that are on there, and this will help you because I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of things are missing from the bike shops these days. So this might help you out. Now, like I was mentioning, I got this multi-tool. I love it. It's got the chain brake tool on it, and it has all the Allen keys that you need. And the thing is that it has a good little handle on the chain brake tool, which if you've ever tried to break a chain, for some of us ladies, our grip isn't as strong as men, and sometimes it can be kind of painful. So I like this one for that. It also came with this amazingly cool little pouch, which I think I like that more than the tool, because I could just put that in there, and then I could pack all my other small little things in there as well. So I like this. But there's also other ones, like this one is a really old multi-tool of mine. It doesn't have the chain brake, so we'd have to carry it with you, but it's still good and it's still small and somewhat light. This is another great one. Now, it's from Crank Brothers. They're very high end. The price between these two is like, this is about double the price. But if you have a really good look at the type of steel that's used, this is higher quality. I'd say it is higher quality. And this one has a chain brake tool, but you can see how there's not much to grip on. And I've been told, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, that this, if you have a disc brake, is used to pry the brake pads open if they happen to get seized together. Isn't that cool? I didn't know that. I learned that this summer. You learn something every time. All right, so that's pretty interesting, and it's got all the Allen keys you need. So there's 3 different ones. Now we're going to move on to these little valve adapters. And I used to have 3 and I lost one last Thursday somewhere on the floor. So that's why it's always good to have a couple just in case. And why would you have one of these? Well, this is the equivalent to having a car valve. So if you need to pump up your tire at the gas station, this is what you're going to need, okay? You're basically gonna put, and it's also, this is Schrader, and this is Presta, okay? So this is a Presta valve, and you have to unlock the top, you see that? And then you screw this on, okay? And there's your adapter. You can go and pump it up at the gas station. And I've also noticed that, of course, if you have a hand pump, it will have Presta and Schrader ends. So worst case scenario, if you can't use the Presta, then you can flip this on and pump it up just the same. Okay, it's kind of nice to have them because we had a situation where actually I I bought this new bike pump, and and of course, who does this? You buy a bike pump, you never try it until you actually need to use it, right? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, like it just had this end on it that I could pump up, which was, I was like, what? Anyways, and so I was learning about my bike pump on the side of the road. And you try to probably not do that. You might want to test it out beforehand. So that's why you need a couple of these, and that's why this little baggie is super handy. So I just put them inside, Velcro it up, so they're not floating around your bike bag. And you know, when you start pulling things out, you don't want to lose them in the grass, which happens because you're using it on the side of the road. All right, next one. Hold on. I don't think everybody's in here. Okay, so please just mute yourself when you come in. All right, perfect. Next thing is the patch kits. Now, there's two of them that I carry. So this one's like the quick and dirty. I mean, it'll get you home. It's just a teeny tiny ones from Park Tools, and Super Patch. It's okay. You get the little this little scratch pad, okay? And then these little guys are basically stickers, like literally, they're stickers. Where are they? They're okay, you know. They'll get you home in a pinch. What I have used these for is that if my tire is perforated, like with a piece of glass all the way through, what I do is I will use one of these guys on the inside of my tire. My tire. So it's because it's been compromised, right? And when you blow it up, your tire might blow through, your tube might blow through. So you need something to patch it from the inside. So I would use these guys, and I always carry these because I'll tell you a little story. And it just happened a couple months ago, about 2 months ago. So we're on a group ride, and so there's like about 10 of us ladies. We're coming from one village to the next, and we're following each other, and we're coming down a hill, and you know, maybe you've experienced this, but the girl in front of me, my friend, she avoids this huge pothole. It was ginormous. It was huge. And I hit it bang on, like I thought I broke my wheel. Like I really thought I closed my eyes, just waiting for like over the handlebars kind of deal. And well, of course, it took out my front wheel. Then it took out my back wheel. So I had a double flat. And then my girlfriend behind me, she hit it, she flats, and the girl behind her hit it and she flats. So there's 4 flats on the side of the road. So we're all like there. And so you can imagine we had a bit of an assembly line going on. So one would take the back wheel on, the other one would get the tire, one would take the tube, the wheel off, pull the tube out, then hand the tube to one of the other girls to check for the hole. I would patch it, and because really we only had one tire, well, I had one, I got flatted twice, so I had to borrow another one. And then we ended up making a hole in another one while we're putting it on. And anyways, we ended up using like patching tires, and we blew through a bunch of these. So we blew through those. So we started using our hand pumps and patch kits, ran out of, so everything could have gone wrong. But the thing is that kept our cool, and we got it taken care of. It took us like about an hour to get all of us taken care of. And then somebody flatted like about 25 feet after we started. So anyways, it's good to have all the stuff here and know exactly what you're doing with it. So back to the patch kit, this is what I use. So this is, I always forget, damn, I was gonna write it on. But this actually roughs up the bike tube, like the area, and then you apply the glue. in a big area, like you put a lot on. The thing about these ones is it takes time, right? A lot of people don't want to take time to patch a tube, but this will last forever, okay? And that's why it's good to take the time. So you put the glue on, you have your patch, and it's on metal, so you have to take the patch off the metal, and then you have to take the plastic, you see that little plastic off there, off the top. And then you put the patch right on your tube and add more glue and make sure it's literally looks like this. You see that? It's like one with the tube, and it'll last forever. Okay. Now the other day it was raining, and I don't know if you guys, you've been into your local bike shop lately, but my buddy, I literally bought the last 2 tires from my shop that were the size for my bike. And he's like, we're not going to be getting any more anytime soon. So if you flat, bring it home and patch it up, because you might not get another tire at the store. So just an FYI, start recycling your stuff, because that's the word on the street here anyways. Now, another thing about these, and if you've ever experienced running out of glue, okay, so this is vulcanized glue, and I did some research the other day because anytime you need to get that, you have to get another patch kit. So you know what it is? It's rubber cement. So if you can go to your Canadian Tire, or even Staples has this, get this. It's the same as this. Okay. And I haven't figured out yet how to get this into that so I can carry it, but I will. In any case, now I have a lot of glue to do up all my tubes. Okay, so I'm going to put this little guy in my little handy dandy toolkit. Put that over here, put that over here. Now tire levers. I have a bunch. Don't carry them all with you. Take at least 3, okay? Because they're usually sold in 3s, and sometimes you need 2 of them to get your tire off, depending on how hard it is. And if you notice, they're different. You might start having a preference as to which ones you like using. I prefer these ones because they're sharper, right? These are pretty dull and they're a pain in the ass. But I have broken one of these at the top, and these can break off too. So that's why you need 3, just in case. 3 of those. Next is, we're going to talk about pumps. All right. CO2 cartridges. I forgot to pull out some extras. Okay. Now, CO2 cartridges. Everybody loves them. Nobody kind of knows how to use them, but here they are. And you can buy these in packages at Canadian Tire. They're usually used for BB guns, stuff like that. So you can get them cheaper there. Now, and always carry more than one with you. Remember the story. So with regards to these, make sure you get the adapter that has like a control valve. And the reason why I say that is because it is about 90 PSI, and you want to slowly add air into your tire and check it as you inflate your tire. And I'll talk about that in a sec, like later on. And not to mention that a lot of tires, if you're running gravel, are not 90 PSI. So you do not really want to be pumping a whole 90 PSI into an 85 PSI tire, if you know what I mean, because you will blow it up. So you need to control that. Same with like mountain bike tires, kids tires, if you use it for that. So This is really like road friendly, okay? Um, Now, I did put this, okay, you guys are gonna hate me when I tell you this story. So I bought this package of 10 for like 25 bucks in May and on Amazon. And then I went back to put it onto my list for you guys and it was 90 bucks. So they increased the rate, like basically each one was 10 bucks. I couldn't believe it. They were all priced 10 bucks each. But thankfully, it was still sitting in my shopping cart that I could reorder at that price. So I got another bag. Now here's another valve that has a open close. So that's the same deal. You screw it in. I'm not going to blow it up. Then you attach it to your valve. You can tighten it on and then you screw it in and control it into your tire. Okay, this one's nice. It's got the whole canister holder thing going on, and I think this one's on the list. So that one's there. Okay, and of course, like, remember the story? We blew through all the CO2 cartridges and we were left with using the hand pump. So always have a hand pump. I know everybody likes to go light. Don't go light. Just get something that really works. This one works. This one I'm not sure. So make sure it works. All right. Now, last thing before we get into the bike is the links. Now, this is what we're going to talk about is repairing your broken chain. And a lot of people are like, why would I carry links with me? Well, I'll tell you a couple stories why you should carry links. Now, the first one happened to me. I had a bit of a bike fall. My bike fell over and it fell on the derailleur side. And so it bent the derailleur. I didn't know that, but this is what I figure out after the fact. And a couple days later, I went to do hill repeats and I was on a hill, and you know how when you're fully extended, you're just cranking, and I cranked and the derailleur hanger cracked off. Okay, so I was like, what the hell? And luckily, I was on a hill and I could just coast down to the corner and somebody helped me basically repair my chain, shorten it so I could get home. Okay, so that was my first experience. Next was within our bike club, same deal, broken derailleurs. We have to take the derailleur off and shorten the chain. And then, you know, so they can bike home. Same thing, wasn't a broken derailleur. I came across a guy in the park this summer and he had been basically running in his bare feet because his chain broke. His chain broke. And I've heard of people having their chains like explode. So they've basically broken off on their bike. Maybe they're old, I don't know. But the thing is that you have to put the chain together and you're gonna need a set of links, okay? Now, which links do you buy? So this is the important thing. It's based on your gears, okay? So if I have, this is an 11 speed. So if I have an 11 speed, it's an 11 speed chain, 11 speed links, okay? So if I have 9 or 8 or 10, you have to get the link according to your gears, right? Because, and also whether Shimano or Campy, they're all different widths. Like these, the chains are different widths. I didn't realize it until I started, you know, playing around with it. I'm like, oh, one link will fit all chains. No, it doesn't. Because, my friends, the little pins right here, these little pins, they're all different lengths, okay? So they could be shorter, they could be longer, and you need the right one to go through the link to repair it. See how it pops up there? Maybe it's better in the red. So it pops up, and see that? So you can link the other side, okay? So I have 10s, 11 10s, and a 9 in here. And this is an 11 speed. So basically, I'll show you quickly, because we'll touch on this later on. Okay. So pay close attention, guys. This is how you put them together. Okay, so they're both like this. So you place them both together. Now you have to rotate it because you're replacing a link, remember. And then you have to link them together. Okay, so you link them together in their hook, and then you snap. You see that? So now it's a new link. So I've just replaced the link. Okay, now I'll show you this amazing tool. This is a link. These are link pliers. Now, if you clean your chain a whole lot, you will love to have one of these. And I put them on my Amazon shopping list for you. This is how they work. Okay, see that? See, it's closed. Now I opened it. And the reverse is you can tighten it. Open, tighten, is fabulous. I bought this last year, I don't know what. So now you can take your chain off super easy and clean it. So you don't have to use pliers. I don't know what I was using before, but like pliers or two, flathead screwdrivers to push it together. So that, my friends, is everything you need. And you stuff it all. Oh, of course, let's not forget your tire, your tube. Be sure I got the good one. That's right for your tire. Now I went biking the other day, mountain biking, and I brought my kit. And of course it had a bike tire in it, not a mountain bike tire. So I was like, well, the worst case scenario, I can always patch my tube. So just make sure you have the right one in there, and everything fits, right? Just stuff everything in here. All right, let's put that aside. Now we're going to move on to changing a flat. All right, just leave everything here, and we're gonna go back to our bike over here. All right, now here's a quick tip you're never gonna forget. You can see all that. As soon as you get a flat, sorry everybody. Okay, as soon as you get a flat, the first thing you want to do is put your gear in the hardest gear. Okay, so bring it right down to the hardest gear. Why would you want to do that instead of leaving in the middle of your cassette? Well, here's the reason. So when you put so basically first, your derailleur is going to be all the way out. It's not going to be in the middle of your cassette. That's number one. Number two, when you take your tire off, your wheel off and put it back on, you now know that your chain was on the bottom gear, the bottom cassette. Okay, that's number two. And when you put it on, it's going to be so much easier because this isn't in the middle, everything. It falls out of your frame easier, and it's so much easier to put back in. Okay, so that's the first thing. As soon as you get a flat, change the gears all the way to the bottom, drop it out. Okay, now I have to apologize. I'm going to be shifting a lot here because, hey, I'm the only one doing all the videotaping. All right, now here's your tips. Here's some more. Okay, you're gonna open the tire lever. Okay, I'm just gonna drop it down one more. So you see my derailleur moved all the way in. It's all the way over and it's gonna be ready to drop it. So I'm gonna release the tire levers. So this is the pieces that hold the wheel into the frame. So I'm gonna open one side, and basically now all I have to do is just push it and take it out. How easy was that? Did you guys see that? All right, now here's the little tips. Okay, this is for getting it back onto your frame, because I know I've done enough of these over the years that this is where everybody stresses out, is taking the back wheel off. It's so simple. Okay, that's simple for me, right? You're like, Sylvie, that's so simple. Oh yeah, and it takes practice. Okay, and once you do it once, you're good, right? So here you go. First thing, write this down, is you make sure the cassette is in between the chain. Okay, not having both chains like that, in between the chain. So take your time, and then you're going to place the little pulley wheel. So these guys here are the little pulley wheels, these little round things that your bike chain goes through. This is your back derailleur. Okay, so you're going to put your cassette number one between the chain. You're going to set your derailleur down on the last gear where you left it. Okay, so it's sitting right on the little pulley wheels, like I'm not touching it. Now you're going to take your thumb and you're going to push it on this little lever right here. That little lever on the back of your derailleur. And you're going to push it down, and it's going to allow your wheel to pop in place. Okay? Now, the next thing is, so 1, 2, 3. So 1, you leave it in the bottom, put it between the chain, put the okay, so let's back up. Step 1, between the chain. Step 2, you drop it on the last gear, the little pulley wheel on the last gear. Step 3, you take your thumb and you push it, and I'll show you what I'm talking about in a second. You push it down and it's going to fall into place. So it's number 3. Number 4, whether you have disc brakes or you're still running V brakes or whatever brakes, this is the next place you look, because if it hasn't fallen into place down here, odds are it's being blocked by your brakes, or if you have disc brakes, the disc is sitting against the little calipers that is supposed to slide into. Okay, so that's number 4, dealing with the brake situation. And once you deal with that, it's going to fall into place. So whether you're looking up here or whether you're looking back here, it's the same deal. Okay, now I'm just going to take this off again, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so remember I was talking about my thumb. So here's your back derailleur. See that little piece right there? Right here? It's basically a lever. Well, I call it a lever. So you just stretch your derailleur down. This is how it stretches down when you're in full torque. So you just push this down so it opens, and it's that little guy right there. You can't really see him. So just look at your derailleur. It's right there. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? All right, let's put the bike aside. All right, I'm not gonna deflate that wheel. Got this one. Okay, let's talk about changing the flat. All right, so we got our wheel off. I'm just gonna take all the air out. Okay, so you got it like this. Now here's a couple more tips for you when you're dealing with with a flat. And write this down. First thing you want to do is you want to find out how you flat it. Now this would be like going very gently, running your hands, and take your time doing this, guys, because I don't know how many stories I've heard of people who change a flat, bike down the road, and they have another flat because they did not take time to pick out whatever it is that gave them the flat in the first place. Okay, so take your time. Don't let anybody rush you, okay? All right, so you're checking. And say we find some glass on, we're gonna use this as a marker, so the valve as a marker. So say on the left-hand side, this is where we found our glass. Okay, so we're gonna pick it out, and then what we're gonna do is when we get inside is we're gonna check to see if it cut all the way through, and if we did, we're gonna patch it with this little guy. Okay, remember? And we're also going to do a double check on the inside, just make sure there isn't anything anywhere else. Okay. All right. So now we're going to take our tire levers, and this is how we're going to get it off. Now, some tires are really nice and loose. Not all tires are like that. Okay. So it's like a spoon. You're going to scoop it right in here. You're going to scoop it underneath the lip of your tire. Okay. And then you're going to wrench it down like this, and you're going to hook it into your spoke. Okay. So that's why the hook's there. Now you take number 2, and you do one of two things with it. You can either go further down and do the same thing. Open it up. I don't usually do this, but you can. So you can either go down, do the same thing as this one, or number 2 option is go slip in right beside here and then start opening the wheel. Like that. And let the other one fall out. Okay? So that's usually what I do. Okay? Now you've got the tire off on one side. Do not take the tire off the whole thing. Okay? Now we're going to pull out. Ooh, look at that. Little patchy patch. One of my patches. Okay? And I left it blown up to see if it worked. All right, so we're going to take the tube out, and we're going to re-inspect the inside. Okay, so we said it was on the left-hand side, and okay, so say I can see through the threading. I'm going to take one of the little stickers here, and I'm going to stick it on the inside of my tire. Okay, so it's like a Band-Aid. And because, like I said, if it cut through, you definitely don't want to continue riding with a sliced tire, because you could blow it up. When you pump your tire, your tube could bulge through there. So you want to put a Band-Aid on the inside. Okay. Now you're also going to double check everything else, nothing else hanging out there. And then you're going to go, okay, here's the hole. I'm going to patch it. Okay, so I checked it. Ah, it's about right. Yeah. blew it up a little bit, air's coming out. And so that's where you grab your glue, sorry, your sandpaper, rough it up, apply some glue, and then do your patch. Okay, so I'll tell you this one here, and it's funny how it's always kind of, see, this one could have possibly been from a snake bite. Have I had a snake bite? It's basically 2 holes in your tube like this, and it's because you've hit a hole and you put all your weight on your back tire and it basically went boom, and these 2 rims basically made a snake bite into your tire. And that's typically usually what happens when you hit a big pothole. All right, so now we patched it, we're gonna put it back in. So you start with the valve, and you see how nice, we're just gonna drop that right in there because it's already blown up. And now we're going to just put the tube in. Okay, I've got it like this, and we're going to work from the valve all the way around. So we're going to start inserting the rim of our tire into the rim of our wheel. Because basically it latches underneath. Okay, so make sure the tube's in. Keep going all the way around. Okay. Now we're at the top. And this is where everybody's like, yeah, exactly. How do I get it back into the tire or the wheel? And this, instead of like allowing it to go all the way around. All right, so you're going to, like, this tire might be, I might be able to get it with my palms. And here's another, this is the extension of the story where all of us are on the side of the road dealing with our flat tires. Is one of the girls like, because I put one on and I punctured it with this, putting it on, and it's the first time I've ever done that. But one of my friends was like, yeah, you should do this. You can really, like, so basically you're just rolling it in, like, if I can, rolling it in with the palms, and you just keep rolling and rolling, and you build up a sweat, and then you get it in. Do you see that? Woo! That takes practice, people. Otherwise, what I would be doing, this is the other way. You can't get that. Okay, so you're like this. You want to reverse it like you're a tire lever, and you want to just push it up into your tube, into your tire. Make sure your tube is in there, and you basically latch it underneath the wheel and you push it in. Okay, so that's the reverse, using your tire lever. Okay, so now you got your tire on. Okay, everything's ready to go. Now here's a couple more tips for pumping up your tire. Now the thing is that you don't want to do it a full shot. And I was talking about having your control valves on your CO2 cartridge, because everybody goes straight to the CO2 cartridge and uses that. You definitely want to, and I've seen this happen, is that you start pumping up your tire and say it's not seated right. around here, your tube will start bulging out, and I had a friend get a flat that way. So we had to take the tire out, patch it, and reinstall it. So you want to add air, check if everything is proper. Like, take your time to do that too. Okay, you just sort of check everywhere, nothing's bulging out, everything's kind of seated right, and air is going in, and then you're done. So you're done putting on your tube, your tire. So that was so easy, right? You just have to practice it. But once you do it once, like, it's just the same over and over again. Okay? Now, you're going to put it back in. So remember, between the chain, put the derailleur down on the chain, on the last gear. Use your thumb, number 3, drop it down, number 4, the brakes, and then you tighten it back onto your bike. Now, let's talk quickly about adjusting the brakes. Now, little thing, if you have, let's just start with disc brakes. I don't have disc brakes on my bike, but I have this nice little sample here. It's a very old sample, but it's the same deal. You still have brake pads, and it's the same as your, like the old brakes. You still have brake pads, and these still wear down. So these are like car brake pads, and you know, if you've ever had a car, you've had to change the brakes. Same deal. I'm not sure how easy it is for you to change these brakes, however, on a disc brake. This is a pretty old one, but same deal. You might have to take them in to get them changed, but you have to keep an eye on the thickness of the pads because they will wear down, especially if you're mountain biking, gravel, you know, like it's all that dirt that just continues rubbing up against, and you start wearing them down, right? Same deal here. These brake pads, you have to keep an eye on them. There is an indicator there. If you look at them, there's 2 little lines, and if they get low, it's time to change them. And usually they're super easy. You just take your wheel out, and you can literally push the pads off and then replace them. So pretty easy. You do not want to let them, same with, well, I don't know how much it costs to change a disc brake, but I do know how much it would cost to change a wheel. If you let this go down too low and it starts scraping away at the rim. Okay, so that can happen. Also with these ones, you want to check them periodically because sometimes little pieces of dirt can get in them and that can grind away at the wheel as well. So you just want to keep, like when you clean it, take a look and do a little scrub in the brakes. Now, here's a couple things that happen, and it does happen with disc brakes too, is that if you've ever had friction, you know, like that day you're like, oh my God, I'm so strong, I'm feeling so good, and you have so much resistance on your bike and you realize that your brake is like leaning up against your wheel. You ever have one of those rides? I've had one of those rides. So you just look down, you're like, oh my God, I gotta do something. All right. I find that, let's just move this around. Usually it's the front brake that this happens to, because usually it's the front brake, front wheel is the one that you'll take off and put back on. Okay, not the back one. And like I said, you could have tightened your wheel up against your brake. Okay, so that's one reason. It's usually a reason. So this is what you do to take care of that. First thing is reset your wheel. So you go down there, you loosen this up, and you straighten it, and then you tighten it back up. So it's now between your brakes. The next one is you can literally move these brakes from side to side. I can't with my Campy, but I know with the other ones you can. Third thing is you can take your Allen keys and you can adjust the cable. You can first adjust it here, like there's a little adjustment thing. You either screw it one way or the other. You can see them either getting closer or open. Fourth thing, get your Allen key and adjust it there. Fifth thing is there's a screw back here that holds this on, and you can adjust it from there too. So there's a lot of ways you can adjust your brakes, but I find the typical thing is just adjusting the wheel in the frame, which will take care of everything. Now, the last part is breaking the chain. Okay, you guys are ready? All right. Let me just get this up here. Now, here is my link. You see that? I don't know if I can. Okay, here's my link right there. Do you see that? So that's what's going to open and close my chain. And if I were to have broken my derailleur, if this breaks, you see all this chain in here, that's what I would have to remove to put it back together to make it a single speed so that I can get home. Okay. Now, there was one time I was at an event. It was like a century ride. And I took a look at my chain and I noticed one of my links was kind of bent. I was like, wow, I don't know how that would have happened, but it did somehow. And I was like, okay, well, you know, I'm not sure what I can do about it, but I'm just going to keep my eye on it. Sure enough, 50 feet after we left, it broke. Like it literally broke. So what I had to do is, and it took me like 5 minutes to fix. I just took out the defective link and I replaced it with a good link that I had with me. So I've been riding with these for a very long time now, just because of personal experience. As a group ride leader, you have to be prepared for just about anything to happen in your group, and usually it does. So here's what happened. Okay, so we're going to take our chain. Now, if you want to practice stuff like this, just go to your local bike shop and ask them for scrap chains. Like they put these things in the garbage after they're done, like, you know, replacing with the new chain. And then you can practice. All right. Oh, for a good time. Finishing it up. All right, so let's take our chain brake tool. Okay. And there's a couple things I want you to look at. So you see this little pin right here, which is attached to this. Okay, that's what's going to basically push the pin through. That pin, basically what's gonna push that right out of the link. Push this link out. Okay. And how you do that, it will just finish pushing this one out. So you place your chain right in the middle, like this. So in between the teeth. So you see there's teeth. There's these little teeth. Right here. Oh, yeah, there we go. Perfect. You see those little teeth? So you place right in between those little teeth. So it's basically got a hold on it. Now you're gonna hold onto your chain and you're gonna screw this towards the link. Okay. And you push. You can push the link right out. It doesn't matter because like, whoop. All right. There you go. Gone. I'm gonna have to take it off. And there you go. Broken. So this is the link you have to replace right here. Do you agree? This is what we're going to replace right here. So you have to take the rest of it off. Okay. We're going to put it in there. I mean, there would be a chain attached to this. And you're going to hold it here and you're going to push this through. See what I mean? Needs a little torque. Okay. You keep going. And there you go. You can make a pair of earrings. So now you have two ends that need a link. And that's why you find the right one. Okay, so that's a 9-speed. 9-speed. You get your links. Right there. So you got one on the top, one on the bottom, and then you put them together right here. You see how it's not snapped in yet? It's not snapped in yet. And then you have to, that's why you get this guy. I know you're not on, I'll tell you a little trick on how to do it on the road. So maybe this isn't right. They do say if your chain is really dirty, it is harder. And I agree. This might be a 10-speed. Doesn't necessarily say on the chains. I'm gonna try a 10-speed. So here's something that you can do. And this is what we did for the guy who was running in his bare feet. So what we did for the guy who was, we had the same situation. We couldn't lock it together. It was just too hard. So what we had him do is we set up his bike where the chain was, it was like half locked. And what we had him do was get on his bike and just pedal, like push down, and then it clicked in. And then it was, so you needed a big amount of force for the lock-in. And then he was able to bike home. So that's one of the things. And then he was like, yeah, he messaged me. He's like, thanks for the help. It's so funny. And he's like, it wasn't a 10-speed or 11-speed or a 10-speed. Anyways, I had the wrong link, but it worked. Thank God. But so There you go. Put everything back. And that's how you put your chain together. And that's pretty much it. And so before we get into the Q&A, I just want to share with you, I put together another program. If you liked my coaching for this, you're gonna love my coaching for on the bike. And so I put together a little 2-hour webinar for tomorrow afternoon. I know it's super, super early or quick or soon. I'm going to do this next Friday too. So you can pick either tomorrow or next week. It's from 4 till 6. And what I'm going to be covering is this. Okay, I have it all written over there because I'm going to look down. So pedal stroke efficiency. So the 4 quadrants of your pedal stroke. Things you need to know to become more efficient. Clear, what did I write here? I can't even read what. Hill climbing. Oh, gear maintenance. So basically when to change your gears and when. So like in sprints and hill climbing, and also more into hill climbing, getting out of the saddle, sitting in the saddle, when to gear, when not to gear. And then the last portion is going to be nutritional timing. So putting it all together, avoiding the bonk, right? If you bonked and you've been, or dehydration, things you should think about. So it's going to be over 2 hours. It might be shorter, but I want to make sure that I get all the information in for you. And the last little bonus is you're going to get my favorite 9 hill climbing drills that when you register, you're going to get a document. It's this little how-to, 9 different things, 9 different drills you can go and start using to do your hill repeats right now. So with that, you're going to be getting an email either later on tonight or tomorrow morning for you to register for this 2-hour webinar. I'm going to show you all the little tricks and tips that I teach in my winter programs. And as a coach, I'm going to give all these little snippets to you tomorrow or next Friday. So that is going to come in. So if you want to jump in and learn more from me as a coach on how to really maximize the different skills, you know, like how to become faster, you know, avoid being dropped. How do you, you know, break away from the group? Like I could talk to you all about all sorts of different things. But those are the things I'm going to bring to you: the pedal stroke, the gear maintenance, the hill climbing, and the nutrition tomorrow or basically on Friday afternoons as a quick 2-hour webinar. So with that, that's going to come later. I'm also sending you out a survey, so I'd love to hear what your feedback. But now it's into Q&A. Does anybody have any questions? Now's the time to jump out.
Hi, Sylvie, it's Nicolette. How are you?
Hey, Nicolette, did you recognize the little story?
I did. Yeah. Yes, on the long trip to Masson. Yeah, it was that was epic actually. The number, I've never had that many flat tires. My question for you is, it's not so much the sort of dealing with repairs. It's just once you come back from a wet, gritty ride, what should I be doing?
Well, a wet, gritty ride. You could do one of 2 things. You can wash down your bike right away with soap and water. They don't recommend using a spray hose just because you can shoot water into the holes like where your cables are. Like
Right.
My cables are not in my bike. Most cables now are in the frame. So if you spray water, it'll just follow like right into the frame. what I do is I wait for my bike to dry and then flake off all the dirt. It's kind of a little bit easier. And then the next thing is wipe. Well, first you should always wipe down your chain, if anything, and then let all the dirt dry. It's up to you. Let the dirt dry on the frame, clean that off after. But wipe down the chain and put lube on it. And here's, I know how much lube. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what not to do. Don't put a ton of lube on.
Okay.
Because once you have a clean chain, and I just did that, I cleaned my chain, I put a ton of lube on. I know it's like almost instinctual, like, you know, I need to put more lube on because like it needs it, but really it doesn't. And the first thing it does is pick up all the dirt, and now it's black again. So hold back on the lube.
And what brand of, are there different types of lube?
I just get some.
Okay.
I know there's wet lube and there's dry lube and there's like multi-purpose. I would just say as long as you have lube, like, I don't know what's right, or depending on where you're gonna ride, I don't know, but you just need some lube on your chain.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's helpful.
You're welcome. I know lots of wet rides.
Yes. Yeah. Lately. Thank you. That was great. That was very helpful.
Does anybody else have any questions before we wrap it up? Did I answer all the questions? I guess.
No, it was a good refresher and lots of pointers. Just in terms of that multi-tool, what the one that you like the best? Who's the manufacturer?
I can't tell you that. I have it on the. It just says CV or BC. There's Velo Champion.
Velo Champion. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have it on the. This is the one these two are the ones I put on the Amazon shopping list. So this is cheaper. I think it's like $20. This one's like 45.
Okay. That's
what I mean. Like the quality of the metal is, you can see it's far superior, but I've used this one a ton. And I find it just as good.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? Speak now or forever. Go to bed wondering what. Anyone? Here's a little thing. Now that we're becoming at the end of the season, it's good to start checking the wear on your tires. Okay. Here's a used tire. And what you want to start looking at is, like, basically what you can do is you can go over to your bike now and just run your fingers over the top of the tire. Okay. Now this one, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of flat. It's kind of like rounded, flat, round. When your tire starts looking like this, if you've like maybe ridden on them for 2 years, this is the time to change it, because there's no more grip, round grip on it. It's basically, if you take a corner, you're gonna slide out with this. So you really want to take stock, and also, you know, have I had a number of flats with this? Is there, you know, some slices in there? Things like that. Especially if you've had your tires on for a number of years, you definitely want to start looking for cracking, all sorts of things like that, because the last thing you want to do is have a blowout. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just flat. So these are new tires. Yeah. This one's a new tire. You know, I mean, you get the point. This is around, you can kind of, I don't know if how well you can see that, but anyways, so that's another thing. Here's another tip, another little nugget. Here's another reason why this might pertain to old tires or old wheels, but rim tape. So if you don't know what rim tape is, it's this inside your tire, inside your wheel. And sometimes, depending on how old your wheel is, this rim tape starts shifting and sometimes breaking down. And what you'll find is, if you see that little hole right there, that little divot, that's what covers the nipple hole. With the nipple is basically the screw that screws on your spoke, goes through that. And once your rim tape kind of look, see these guys, this is taken off like a mountain bike tire. You can kind of see these little holes. So these were over the nipples, or these were more like screws. And the rim tape has shifted. So these little very, very sharp divots can basically slice your tire as well. So, you know, when you change your tire, always take a look. Is everything cool on the inside? And what I've done on a pinch for a mountain bike tire is I took electrical tape and I just taped the inside twice, and it's good. I just covered them up.
And would you recommend that should we be doing that too? Like if
it's just in a pinch, because if you need to use your tire and you notice and you can't get to the shop, that's just a way you can get it done. Take care of it like at home. So, all right. So last little tips. We could talk all night, but have an amazing evening. Thank you so much, everybody, for jumping on. And please share this with your friends. I'm doing them every Thursday night. If you want to jump in again, just re-register. I have 2 more till the end of October. And like I said, I'm going to do that free 2-hour webinar. I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours, but I'm going to go through like basically half an hour, a segment. And I'm going to be on my bike, on the trainer, and I'm going to give you some good tips on pedal stroke, gear maintenance, hill climbing, nutritional timing, and give you that bonus of the 9 drills. And you'll get that email shortly.
Lovely.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.